Bullet trains, Arctic railways, mega skyscrapers, even a new spaceport. But what's really going on? Why spend billions in the middle of nowhere? Or outer space? These 8 mega projects could reshape Russia's future. And the last one? You won't believe they're actually building it. Let's get into it. Let's start with something fast. Right now, if you want to take a train from Moscow to Kazan, it takes about 12 hours. That's half a day on the rails. But Russia is building a new high-speed train line that will cut that time down to just 3.5 hours. That's a huge difference. The train will travel up to 400 kilometers per hour, almost as fast as the bullet trains in Japan or China. The project was supposed to be finished by 2023, but it's been delayed. The cost is high, around $25 billion, and they still need more research on how many people will use it. Even with the delays, this is just the beginning. Russia wants this line to eventually stretch all the way to China, over 7,000 kilometers from Moscow to Beijing. China is interested too. In fact, they've offered to loan over $6 billion to help build it, as long as Chinese tech and equipment are used. If it works, this train could carry over 10 million people in its first year, with more growth in the future. It would also be one of the most expensive train projects in the world. But building a high-speed railway in Russia isn't easy. The country has harsh weather, frozen ground, and long distances between cities. It will take a lot of smart engineering to pull this off. Now we're heading north, way north. Russia is building a brand new railway through the Arctic. It's called the Northern Latitudinal Railway, and it's one of the most difficult rail projects in the world. This line will stretch over 700 kilometers and connect remote industrial towns in the Yamal Peninsula, one of Russia's most important regions for oil and gas. Here's why it matters. Russia has the largest natural gas reserves in the world, and a big chunk of that gas comes from Yamal. But getting it out of there and to global markets is tough. There aren't enough roads or railways, and the Arctic isn't exactly easy to build in. So this new railway will connect Yamal to the Northern Sea Route, a shipping lane that runs through the Arctic Ocean. That means gas and oil can move faster and more cheaply from the Arctic to ports and then out to the world. But this is no ordinary train track. Crews are building bridges over frozen rivers, laying tracks on permafrost, and working in temperatures that can drop to minus 50 degrees Celsius. It's a huge challenge. Several major companies are working together on this, including Russian Railways, Gazprom, and the local government. Some sections of the railway are already under construction. When it's done, the railway is expected to carry nearly 24 million tons of cargo every year. That's a massive amount of fuel, supplies, and equipment moving through one of the coldest places on Earth. It's not just about money either. As the Arctic ice melts, more countries are eyeing this region for its resources and shipping lanes. Russia wants to be ready, and this railway is a big part of that plan. If you've ever been to Moscow, you know one thing. The traffic is brutal. The city is one of the most congested in the world. People spend hours sitting in traffic just trying to get across town. To fix this, Russia is building a giant new highway that circles around the city. It's called the Moscow Central Ring Road, or just CKAD. This road is 525 kilometers long. That's longer than the entire width of England. It loops around Moscow and connects to 13 major highways, helping cars, trucks, and cargo avoid the crowded city center. Here's how it helps. It gives trucks a way to move goods around Moscow without going through it. It spreads traffic more evenly, which means shorter commute times. And it's part of a bigger plan to connect the western and eastern parts of Russia by road, from the Baltic Sea all the way to the Ural Mountains. The road is being built in sections, and parts of it are already open. The total cost? Over $1.3 billion, but the hope is that it saves way more in time, fuel, and productivity. For a city with over 13 million people, that's a big deal. Moscow's new ring road isn't flashy, no skyscrapers or bullet trains. But it's a mega project that could make daily life better for millions. Now imagine building a massive industrial project in the middle of the Arctic, where it's minus 50 degrees Celsius and everything is frozen solid. That's exactly what Russia is doing with the Arctic LNG-2 project. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas, gas that's been cooled into a liquid so it can be shipped in giant tankers around the world. This project is being built on the Gaidan Peninsula in northern Russia, and when it's finished, It'll be able to produce nearly 20 million tons of LNG every year. That's a lot of gas. So why go through all the trouble of building in the Arctic? Because there's a ton of untapped gas up there, and shipping it by sea from the Arctic is becoming easier as the ice melts. The project is being led by Novatek, Russia's largest independent gas company, and they're not doing it alone. Big players from China, Japan, and France are helping fund and build it. The total cost? Around $23 billion, and that's not just for the gas plant. They're also building a new Arctic port to ship the gas, plus special ice-breaking tankers that can handle the frozen seas. Construction started a few years ago, and the first part of the plant was planned to go online in 2023, with more sections launching in 2025 and 2026. Once it's running, Arctic LNG 2 will help Russia sell more gas without relying on pipelines, which means more flexibility, more customers, and more money. It's also a way for Russia to stay strong in the global energy market, even as the world shifts away from traditional fossil fuels. For Russia, this isn't just about gas. It's about power, influence, and holding a key position in Arctic energy for decades to come. When people think of Moscow, they often picture Red Square or the Kremlin. But just a few kilometers away, something very different is rising: skyscrapers. Welcome to the Moscow International Business Center, also called Moscow City. This is Russia's biggest effort to build a modern financial district, the kind of skyline you'd expect to see in New York, London, or Dubai. Construction started way back in the 1990s, but progress was slow due to financial problems and red tape. Now it's finally coming together, and it's changing the way Moscow looks and feels. The area covers about 60 hectares along the Moscow River and includes office towers, luxury apartments, shopping malls, and even entertainment spaces. One of the most famous buildings here is the Federation Tower, which stands 374 meters tall, making it one of the tallest buildings in Europe. There's also the Mercury City Tower, the Eurasia Tower, and the OKO Tower, each with its own unique design. Some buildings have observation decks, others are packed with corporate offices, and many have high-end apartments that overlook the city. The goal of Moscow City is clear: to turn Russia's capital into a global business hub, where international companies, banks, and startups can all operate side by side. And while it's still growing, the area is already a symbol of a new, modern Russia, one that's not just focused on heavy industry or energy, but also on finance, tech, and lifestyle. It's not just about building tall, and it's about thinking big. Next up, we're heading to St. Petersburg, where Russia built something that literally towers over the rest of Europe. It's called the Lakhta Center, and at 462 meters tall, it's the tallest building in Europe, and the 16th tallest in the world. It's not just tall, it's beautifully designed. The tower looks like it's twisting as it rises into the sky, made of special glass that reflects the clouds and changes color depending on the light. It stands right on the edge of the Gulf of Finland, making it visible from miles away. So, what's inside? The Lakhta Center is the headquarters of Gazprom, Russia's biggest energy company. But it's not just offices. The building also includes public spaces, a planetarium, a science museum, restaurants, and an observation deck with incredible views of the city building. It wasn't easy. Because of the size and shape, engineers had to pour the largest single concrete foundation in the world, just to support the weight of the structure. The weather didn't help either. St. Petersburg gets cold, windy, and icy, so the construction team had to deal with a lot of challenges. But they pulled it off. And now, the Lakhta Center isn't just a skyscraper, it's a symbol. It shows that Russia isn't just investing in raw power or heavy infrastructure. It's also building things that are modern, bold, and designed to impress, both for business and for the public. Last but not least, we're heading into space. Russia has built a brand new spaceport called the Vostochny Cosmodrome. It's located in the Amur region of eastern Russia, near the border with China. So why build a new one? For decades, Russia has been launching rockets from Baikonur, a spaceport in Kazakhstan. But Baikonur isn't in Russia, and renting it costs over $100 million a year. Vostochny is Russia's way of gaining full control over its space launches, no more relying on other countries. The spaceport covers a massive area, about 700 square kilometers. and it's built to handle all kinds of missions, from satellites to future crewed flights to the moon. But getting it up and running hasn't been smooth. Construction began in 2011, but there were delays, budget problems, and even corruption scandals. In 2015, several officials were caught stealing millions from the project, and the government had to step in. Still, in 2016, Vostochny had its first successful rocket launch, and more have followed since. The facility includes a modern launch pad, processing centers for rockets and payloads, and a mission control center built for future deep space missions, Russia's long-term goal to launch most of its space missions from its own territory and eventually use Vostochny as a base for moon exploration. It's part of Russia's push to stay relevant in the new space race, alongside countries like the US, China, and private companies like SpaceX. The Vostochny Cosmodrome isn't just about science, it's about national pride, independence, and the next frontier. So what do all these projects have in common? They're bold, expensive, and not easy to build. But they show where Russia is heading, from faster transport and cleaner energy to modern cities and space missions. Some of these plans are delayed, some are controversial, but together, they paint a picture of a country that's still betting big on its future. What do you think? Are these mega projects the key to Russia's next chapter, or just risky moves in a changing world? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more deep dives, and we'll see you in the next one.